All right. So let us go through the settings. Kind of. Again, we'll just kind of walk through them. We'll kind of explain our thoughts. And yeah. Feel free to praise us. Feel free to hate us. Feel free to spam Lrauq's +10 -10 emotes. Let's go. All right, Ballaam, you are starting off here. Go ahead.
Yeah, so mostly the change between season 2 and season 3 with item randomizers is staying the same. You got your kind of same things, your golden bananas, your moves, your keys, and stuff like that. But we are making a few changes. So fairies are now in the pool. There are 20 of them in the game, 2 in each level, except tiles, which have 4. And then Nintendo and Rare coins, the 8-bit mini games, are now also in the pool. So you might have to do Jetpack, or you might have to do DK Arcade second round, which is going to be fun. We have made some changes to Arcade to make it a little bit easier and less infamous, let's say. But it's still, a good bit of fun there. And then melon crates, there are 13 of them in the game, scattered across various different levels. Those can now have items. We did also remove crowns from the pool. So this has a few interesting effects. So it means that you won't have to do like really long, boring auto-scroller crowns. It also does remove Check of Legends 2, which is the fungi lobby crown. Overall, this brings our check count up by about 20 or 30 checks in the game total.
Yeah, and really and I know people are 07ing Check of Legends too, but like to Lrauq, that literally cut the amount of checks that absolutely destroys the hints in half. So
it's a spicy one, that's for sure.
But yeah, so we're adding some more checks. So very good there. People are getting better at the game, so more checks I think will kind of get things a little bit more interesting, I suppose. All right, Lrauq, you are doing the next slide.
If you could change the slide, excellent. There we go. So now we're talking about our starting move kit. So we're going to compare this all to Season 2 to give you a good frame of reference on what we're looking at here. And looking at it, pretty similar. You start with keys 1 and 3. You do not start with key 6. You're going to have to find key 6 to beat the game. Key 6 is out and about in the world. Only 2 keys. You still start with the familiar Slam. You still start with the familiar Camera and Shockwave. Good utility there. Love to have those. And you also start with...
I messed up the slide because I forgot to put the random moves in.
Yeah, well, it's a given. Compared to Season 2, it's still the same. You still start with 3 random moves, as well as an ammo belt and an instrument upgrade. So you got a little bit of action, or you get a little bit of assistance in your early game just to smooth things out. You get a little more ammo in your pocket. You get a second melon guaranteed. Life is good.
Yeah, it's supposed to be 3 random starting moves to clarify, not 0. Although that would be really funny, but no, you're starting with 3. All right, moving on is my turn. So global randomizers. So a lot to take in here. Let's start off with bonus barrel games. We ultimately decided that Beaver Bother will remain off, but we also took out the hard mini games and we added the Rambient On Guard battle arenas from the starting, or I guess the main menu screen. So Beaver Bother being off, and I think ultimately what came us to coming to that decision, it really wasn't a unanimous agreement that the change Beaver Bother was going to make it like much better. And in addition, we felt like if there's someone who is possibly interested in doing this and they see Beaver Bother, they might not know that it got fixed and will just not want to play. So that is the reason why we're keeping it off.
I think it is a testament to the state of Beaver Bother as it is that this is even a question. Like, this was close to getting in, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But in Season 2, it was not close.
Yeah, we had quite a discussion on Beaver Bother, so that is out. And like I said, hard minigames also out. No more ridiculous busy barrel barrage. I know everyone hated the hard one of that.
I
And
believe
you're not gonna
that setting, taking out the hard ones takes out 2 of the 3 barrages, so you're only left with the easiest one.
Then you also don't have the ridiculous unused what are the maze games? Those got a little
stash.
crazy.
Yeah. Just an absolute mess. There's a couple really ugly mazes in there. I think there's one maze that like needs a gun or something weird.
And then Rambi and On Guard, they're just kind of cool. So yeah. And then the other things, shuffled shop locations. This was I feel like we got a lot more negative feedback on that than we thought we were going to. So that one ultimately was going to make it in.
A worthy experiment that very quickly turned into a unworthy experiment.
It was.
Go ahead, Ballaam.
I was gonna say it was worth it. It was worth it in telling us not to add it.
Yeah. I mean, that's why we do testing, right? Like, we just got to find what works, what doesn't work. Sometimes things that look good on paper may not work out. And this is what it is. Switch sanity, including helm switch sanity only, is turned off. Felt like there wasn't enough support for that. It almost felt pretty split down the middle as well, as far as liking and disliking it. But ultimately, just not being able to know what you're going for, I think people got a little bit turned off by that. All right, next, I think Lrauq has the level barriers.
The level barriers. Some of you who did a lot of testing may see this coming. Not a lot of surprises to be had here. We put, I think, all of these barriers in our experimental presets. Japes, the coconut gates are open. You do not have to go to the top of the hillside to go open the gates. You're likely to go there anyway, but you don't have to. Up to you. Aztec is now closed, but the Llama Temple, or Aztec is now open. I misspoke. But the Llama Temple is now closed, so you get better access to the back of Aztec, the 2 shops back there, and the 5-door temple, but you're going to need Blast to open up the Llama Temple. Put a lot of emphasis on Blast here. And then in Factory, the testing gate is open. So you normally had to go down to the storage area to slam the switch to open the testing gate, but now it's just open. Now, you may go down to go down to storage first, you may go up to testing first. Up to you. You got options now. Galleon, we have changed which galleon gate is open. Similar to like a closed Aztec, a closed shipyard in Galleon takes away 2 shops. So your Galleon is a little bit you need some peanuts to get some real action in Galleon, but to compensate, you got the lighthouse to work with now. You can run on over to our good friend Kevin and see what he's got. You can head on up the lighthouse, and Cranky's still there in the caverns to give you some goods. And same as before, the K-Rool ship around the lighthouse is that's still going to be there, unchanged from season 2.
And
Forest is
and
unchanged. And
I just
Cage
wanted
is
to throw
unchanged.
in there really quick. The K-Rool ship is still going to require only Slam 1 for technical reasons for season 3. Maybe someday we'll bully Ballaam enough to fix it so that it actually requires the correct slam.
I'm already being bullied from all avenues. It's fine.
What's one more?
Anyway, go ahead, Lrauq, sorry.
And Forest, Caves, and Castle, they are the same as in season 2, unchanged.
Yeah, and I mean, those are, I guess especially for caves, especially like the igloo pads being all locked behind rocket barrel seems a little gross. That doesn't necessarily mean we won't do in the future, but for now, let's go ahead and work with this. We wanted to make peanuts a little bit on the stronger side this time. We can coconut a bit, so yeah. All right, and then what's next here? Next one. Ooh, Ballaam has the next one. We got some more global settings.
All right, so some global settings here. We are going to stick with simple level order. We felt like this was probably the best move for season 3. Complex level order, we kind of wanted to wait for some of the additions in 4.0 because we just didn't feel like it was quite ready yet for season 3. But it's definitely going to be a really strong contender for season 4. 4 fairies for Fairy Queen reward. That changes. It was 5, it's now 4. we're going to set it so it's 9 medals for jetpack. So it was 8 medals in testing, but Lrauq made the good point that with 8 medals, that could require you to get some really early medals and like really stuck up on medals in like the first 2 levels just to get a jetpack thing. And so we wanted to increase it to 9, which adds a little more lenience in terms of the fill. Galleon water level is raised, so this mostly makes some checks easier, but some checks actually now require you to lower the water. So the notable 2 are Lanky and Diddy's 5-door ships. Those instrument pads are too low to play on high water, so you gotta lower the water for that. Forest is staying on daytime. We felt like Dusk kind of just took a little bit of the uniqueness of Fungi out. So Fungi is very unique in terms of routing around the day and stuff like that.
It also made Mills insanely strong.
Yeah, that too. So we wanted to stick to daytime for that. Give some of the fun of the routing of Fungi back again. And No Crusher, unfortunately, just causes a bit too much confusion for new players. We felt like it was a good move to stick to No Crusher for now.
I miss Crusher already, but going back on some of the 2 more controversial things here. Simple Leveler in Forest starts daytime. We really had some long discussions about those. This doesn't mean they won't be in future seasons, just as a heads up, but we ultimately felt like this would work best for the season 3 settings that we picked. So,
man, you kind of threw him to the wolves on this slide. You made. Oh no, wait. Ballaam was the one that divvied up the slides. Man, you really fell on the sword, huh? That's rough, buddy.
Well, yeah, I did. It's in the end, it's a case of like a lot of people are saying that, like, you know, like why not have it for season 3? It should make perfect sense. But we felt like with season 3, we'd have to make too many concessions. It just didn't feel quite right for season 3. It just needs a little bit more cooking to get to a level where we feel happier with it overall. And 4.0, I've had many discussions with Lrauq, and we haven't really divulged everything that we want to do for 4.0. Like, it's going to have so many good cooks, which I think is going to be better in the long run for giving something of that kind of nature for CLO.
All right. That being said, let's go ahead and move on to the next slide. Lrauq has hints.
Hints, my beloved. Also, here comes the good news. Progressive hints. We love progressive hints, don't we? You don't have to go run around to your lobbies to get your wrinkly doors. We're putting progressive hints where your last hint comes at 50. So in Season 2, you ran around to go look at hint doors. No longer. The hint doors are actually just gone. All your hints are on the pause menu. As you collect GBs, you will get notifications to check the pause menu and take a read on packs of 4 hints at a time. So we'll go up there. So as you collect GBs, you get more and more information. Life is good. We're going to do a standard hint system, which means it's a flexible hint distribution. You will not know exactly how many of each type of hint you're going to get. This gives the seeds a little more flexibility depending on how awful they are, and to give you more path hints as needed, or fewer if you don't need them. A lot of flexibility there is pretty nice if you get some like particularly ugly seeds, if they're out and about. And the contents of the hints themselves are unchanged from Season 2. The same multi-path hints that you have come to enjoy in the past few months. Multi-pathy goodness all over the place. If you've been playing the last couple months, you'll have seen various scouring hints, foolish hints, way of the horde hints, multi-path hints. Those are the core of your Season 2 hints. You will not, however, see a wrinkly hint that tells you the helm order. You have to go to Snide to get your helm order. This is a major change. You must go to Snide. He alone knows the inner workings of the Blastomatic and will tell you which Kongs are the ones that will be required to disable it.
And for clarification, you would need to talk to Snide with a Kong that doesn't have to turn in any blueprints. If a Kong is turning in blueprints, that will happen, so you would have to re-enter if you want to know the hint if you enter with a Kong who wants to turn in a blueprint first. Just for those aware who have not done any of the testing, that's how that mechanic works.
He's very eager to get the blueprints off your hands, so you don't give him the temptation.
K-Rule hint is not a hint. I didn't put it on here, but it's
right. Compared to Season 2, Compared to season 2, you didn't get one anyway, but you won't get one now. Your
It's
multi-cat hints will
because
hint your phases.
it's because K Rule hints was already in standard hints. We just never took it out.
Ever-evolving system.
Moving on, we have the end game. This is the one everyone was been waiting for. It was so close between all keys finish and K Rule finish. But we have decided on 3 random Kongs to beat K Rule, triggers the credits. That's unchanged. But the big one here, personally, I think, is the 64 GB Helm B Locker. We experimented with the split Helm door B Locker GBs, but ultimately I felt like, and we felt like, we did not want people pushing. Because also I want to throw in here, we have the 2 Kong Helm and not the 3 Kong Helm. Pushing Helm with less GBs than your max required, that's going to be really, really strong. So to compensate for that, we're just not going to bother with the second Helm door for the max GBs. It's just going to be B Locker 64. For those who were wondering why 64, we calculated the pace that you get item checks from compared to season 2 with the new checks added to season 3. We found that around the same pace that you're collecting items, you'll get approximately 4 more golden bananas in the time frame. That's how we came up with 64, and we thought, like, this is DK64. It'd be kind of cool to just line it up with the name of the title anyway. And also the 2 random Kong Helm instead of the 3, that was kind of like a trade-off for adding key 6 in the pool. That's really just going to make your key 8 hints a lot better. That's just one less thing you have to worry about for your key 8 hint.
And 2 less chances to get 2%ed.
Yep.
Less, but never 0.
There's always a chance.
All right. That was a pretty, I think we got some pretty good settings here, and I think that will be it. If there was any kind of wait a sec. You really thought that was going to be it, didn't you? Did you really think that was the season 3 settings? Did you really think so?
I thought so.
Oh, we got one more for y'all.
Oh.
We have a surprise settings change. Don't you just love how many chunky K Rule hints you get? Aren't they amazing? Well, we have made it so that Super Simian Slam is no longer required. Goodbye to everyone who loved those random casino slams at the end.
You run in there and get told what levels your slams were in, and pray to your deity of choice that you would find the slam in whatever level you chose. No more. You do not need the second slam for Chunky K Rool. Life is good. What could possibly go wrong?
Absolutely.
Yeah, what could possibly go wrong indeed?
Did you really think that was going to be it? I'm sick and tired of you meddling developers making it easier and easier to defeat me. For punishment, I'm making that fool Donkey Kong's fight against me no longer free by requiring Baboon Blast in order to use the barrels. You didn't like that, did you? Well, you're gonna love this. I'm also making it so that all metal checks now require 45 bananas instead of 40. Good luck beating me now.
Well, unfortunately, chat, K Rool kind of held us at I guess a splat point. Yeah, something like that. And he forced us to make these 2 changes for season 3.
this is all because, Lrauq had a stream yesterday where for every new follower that he got, he would make season 2 or season 3 10% worse. He got far too many followers.
Just too many. You
Too
couldn't.
many.
You couldn't stop. You couldn't hold back. And here we are.
So, in all seriousness, this was kind of the chain. There was a little bit of discussion beforehand, and the first thing with regard to DK phase is we really wanted to balance things out so it's not just like really difficult for chunky phase and then like DK phase is completely free. So we wanted to balance it out a little bit so that chunky phase required one less move and then the DK phase required one more move, so one total, of course.
And we had conversations about this. There was even a suggestion that like those barrel blasts in the boom blast course, like, shouldn't it be implied that you have to have the move to use those, because those are only in the blast courses anyway. So that was kind of the logic on top of what Ballaam explained for making that change.
The keen observers among you will know that there is a mini game that requires a blast barrel, and yes, that will require blast. So good luck.
So we did remove some chance for a 2% game, but now we added one too.
And then
go ahead.
We got on the 45 color bananas. Shout outs to Alter. He did a wonderful spreadsheet where he calculated the changes in requirements for if we lowered it to 35 and then if we increased it to 45. And we had like a really good look at it, and we felt that like changing it to 45 is the better of the two, and it also shakes things up. So all of your memory and stuff like that of like, oh, for Forest Tiny Metal, I've got to get this move, and this move to do it. Now that's all changed. Everyone's on the level playing field of what requirements are needed for each levels, for each Kong's Baboon Blast, or not Baboon Blast, Metal Check. So, there's a lot more, like, it's a very level playing field from Season 3.
Yeah,
at the end of the day,
the point is, like, we felt that, like, not only like with the metal checks, right? Like if you're a beginner going into this, like you still need to learn the location of the bananas anyway. Like having it be with like a 40 or 45 banana, it's not going to make much difference. But for veteran players, this is going to have to change the way you think about your routing. You have to think about the way you collect bananas, like if you need to make it a priority or not. And as kind of a bonus, a minor bonus, so to say, like we did not change the amount of bananas on average that are required for Trophenscoff. So there's gonna be a slight bump to having the correct amount of bananas to be able to check them.
At the end of the day, y'all got too good. Too good. Just simply too good. We gotta put y'all in check. Knock you down a peg.
I'm gonna blame King. I'm gonna blame Obio. I'm gonna blame Riley. I'm gonna blame Connor 70. Well, Connor 75 was already good. I'm gonna blame Etiquette.
Camerson,
Not gonna blame Kuiper. He sucks.
Yeah, Kuiper's terrible. I can't believe he'd I don't know. I can't believe I tied that man for 5th place in season 2.
I can't believe Kuiper held on to a bug report for 1 month and didn't tell us.
Spike, I could never blame you. All right, well, I hope everyone likes the settings. Spent a long time. I just want to do one more thanks for everyone who went ahead and tested the settings, candidate settings we had for the last month or so. Really appreciate. We could not have done this without your help. These settings, all about the community. Communities alongside your feedback, that was the big thing for this. So I really, really want to thank you guys. It was really, really you guys made this. We just kind of curated it. All right.
And I know, and you're going to want to keep abreast of any updates that are coming down the pipeline in discord.dk64randomizer.com. This is where all the action is happening. That's where a lot of the discussion for Season 3 takes place. And if you want to see how Season 3 pans out, that's where you want to be.